The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on the towns and villages that we cover. This week we'll be starting with John Moffat in the town of Mendon. John, what's happening there?
Hi, Chris. Just a couple of reminders to everybody. As I've mentioned before, school's open. I'm not going to tread on Mayor Milne's turf here, but there's already been a couple episodes with schools open, more children walking around, more people obviously are out at different times of the day. So please be aware and don't be a distracted driver. As most of you know, our spray park is open. It is going to remain open through the month of September. We just finished a little hot spell. Probably get another one or two before the end of the month. And so glad to have it still open. School tax bills are out. Certainly, if you expected to receive one and you did not, call the Town of Mendon clerk's office. This would be for residents of the Town of Mendon who are in the HFL or Pittsburgh School District. If you're escrowing your taxes, you should not expect a bill. But if you're not escrowing, you should have your bill. And the instructions are on there. If you have any questions, please contact the town clerk. If you are having trouble making your payment when the clerk's office is open, you can put it in the drop box on the Main Street side of the building, and they will issue you a receipt. Town of Mendon budget is in full swing. I'll be presenting the budget to the town board on Monday, September 11th. At that point, the board will have a chance to review it. We have another meeting coming up on September 25th. At that time, I would expect there to be some changes possibly and probably move to preliminary status. And at that point, we would schedule a public hearing for probably October. And after the public hearing, the board can adopt a final budget. Our mobile mammogram is going to be at the Mendon Community Center on North Main Street in Honeoye Falls on September 30th. It is a free event. I appreciate all the work that the town clerk, Michelle Booth, has done to organize that. And lastly, our recycle event is on October 14th. That is going to be at Semmel Road at the highway garage, and we'll have electronic recycling, no extra charge for TVs this time. We will have shredding, and the shredding will be done on site. There will be pharmaceutical recycling with the Monroe County Sheriff's Department and a rabies clinic. So please take advantage of that as you see fit. And I want everybody to enjoy as we move out of summer and move into the fall season. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Mike, over to you. What's going on in the town of Lima?
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having us. Hallelujah. It's taken almost 6 years, but the sidewalk project to connect the village sidewalk all the way up to Gale Road is done. Many thanks to the Town of Lima Highway Department and the Village of Lima Highway Department for making those last two pieces, sort of like connecting the railroad across the United States. But it did work, and now people can freely walk all the way up to the corner of Gale, the Dollar General, mobile home park that's up there, and those businesses. We plan to move forward and keep pushing north to get to the GCC building and the businesses that are beyond. At this past Tuesday, September 5th, board meeting, we did pass the local law to establish a real property tax partial exemption for firefighters and ambulance workers. It is consistent with what Livingston County did. And so now it's up to the village here to go ahead and post theirs, and then those will be all set. Our budget has moved to preliminary status here, and the budget hearing will be at our regularly scheduled board meeting in October. Do not forget that on the 7th of October and April 8th of next year, you are going to need these glasses. You can purchase your solar eclipse glasses for either the partial in October or the full solar eclipse next April, right here at the town office, $2 a set from the town clerk. Do not view the solar eclipse without them. And you are sort of losing time to go out and scout out your solar eclipse location for the spring. Right now, we're at that 6 months away kind of window. Go out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and take a look, and the conditions will be about the same. If you've got a lot of trees blocking, if you've got street lights that you know are going to be on, probably find a different spot to view. And that's all I've got, Chris.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Over to you, Steve. The town of Henrietta. What's cooking in Henrietta?
Good news. The newest deputies have or are soon to complete their training and fly solo at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So that means the Sheriff's Office will be able to staff our special attention detail program. The town of Henrietta does not have its own police force. We had considered creating a constable position, but decided that we did not have the ability or personnel to oversee such a position, not to mention the cost to taxpayers for insurance, training, vehicle, and everything else involved in the training and equipping of a police officer. So we had reached out to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office about the town paying to hire an additional deputy who would be assigned to cover items the town believes require special attention. These are things like speeding in residential neighborhoods, policing crosswalks, as we've been getting motorists drive through them even when kids are crossing for school, neighborhood houses with suspicious, potentially drug-related activities occurring in them at all hours of the day and night, things like that. We negotiated an intermunicipal agreement where the town covers the fully loaded cost to add a new deputy position, and the Monroe County Sheriff's Office then essentially went out and hired them, trained them, and will manage that deputy going forward. Although the most likely scenario is that a current deputy will fill our position and the new hire will backfill that position. It's important to note this individual works for the Sheriff's Office, not the town of Henrietta. But again, the town board basically once at one of our workshop meetings, at least once a month, we will be updating the list of areas they want special attention paid. Obviously, the sheriffs cover some of these things already, but the thing is that their priorities are set by the county, and of course, they have a whole lot of stuff to cover. And so what often happens is they might start on something like this, but then they get pulled off on another call, whereas this individual would be able to stay on the duties we assign them. The only reason they might get pulled off is if there were, an active shooter or officer down type scenario. Pretty much anything else, they would stay on the town's duties. So we're very excited to get this started. We've got a great working relationship with the Sheriff's Office, especially Zone B, who moved their headquarters out of an industrial district and into the property immediately adjacent to the town hall complex. So very excited to get that started. I know a lot of our residents are also very excited because as everybody's been experiencing, there's been a rise in speeding, dangerous driving, all sorts of issues. So we now have 10 senior housing facilities signed up to participate in our first ever Henrietta Senior Housing Fair, which is taking place on September 24th at the Henrietta Senior Center from 9 a.m. to noon. We expect a few other facilities to sign up. So this is just going to allow someone who's considering either moving from their current facility or maybe downsizing from their home to get a good understanding of what the different facilities offer, because we have a variety of both existing senior housing and new facilities that are in the works, including if you've haven't been by the Marketplace Mall recently, there's a new affordable senior housing complex going up there. And then the Freemasons in New York are building a community care facility. And we've got 2 other senior projects currently going through the approval process. So we've heard from many of our senior residents that although they're looking to downsize, they want to stay in Henrietta. So we're excited that developers are essentially building the facilities that will allow that to happen. And then if you have not received or have lost your school bill, contact the town clerk's office. They can print you a new one free of charge. The deadline for the first installment payment is quickly approaching. So if you're interested in paying in installments, you have to make your first payment by September 15th. If you do not make that payment in time, then you essentially automatically are switched to the full payment, which is due on October 2nd, since the 1st is a Sunday. We have a lot of different ways you can pay. That includes a secure drop box. It's just outside the eastern door to Town Hall. So if you're coming in from the parking lot, it's on the right-hand side. It sends straight into a lockbox inside. And the good news is, basically, if it arrives before 8:59 a.m., essentially just before the start of the workday, it gets dated as the previous day. So let's say you get to the end of October 2nd and you've just eaten dinner and you're like, oh, I didn't make my payment. To avoid having to pay a late fee, drive over, sign your check, make it out, as per the instructions, and they'll be included in the upcoming town newsletter, and include your stub, put it in an envelope, put it in that box. It'll be counted as if it were received on the preceding business day. So again, anything received in that drop box prior to the start of the current business day is considered to have been received at the prior business day. And finally, the aforementioned town newsletter, it's going to press on Monday, 9/11. And so hopefully we'll be out the following weekend or shortly thereafter. It includes information on our upcoming ballot referendum regarding the funding of a spray park. Since there's mixed opinions on whether the town needs a spray park, we decided to put it up to a vote of the populace. And I will say, if it passes, I'll reach out to John to get a lessons learned from his town. So, and that's about it.
All right. Thanks, Steve. And anybody else have anything to add that they may have forgotten? Seeing nothing. Let us remind everybody that this show is broadcast every Sunday at 1 p.m. on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Just like the Facebook page or subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you will be notified when the show begins to air. With that, thank you all for being here today. Thank you guys for telling us what's going on in your towns, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.